Autoline Daily is brought to you by Dow Automotive Systems, improving durability and increasing design flexibility with Betamate structural adhesives at dowbetamate.com.
Here are today's top headlines. Honda faces a class action lawsuit over inflated claims for its Civic hybrid. Mercedes and Renault look at working together, and the UAW nominates a new leader. Up next, we'll be back with the news behind the headlines. This is Autoline Daily for Thursday, December 17, 2009, and now the news. In a development that has got to be highly embarrassing for Honda, it is facing a class action lawsuit over claims that it inflated the fuel economy rating delivered by the Civic hybrid. Though the car is rated at 49 miles per gallon in the city and 51 on the highway, many drivers claim they were only getting 32 mpgs combined. Honda offered to send them DVDs explaining how to improve their fuel economy and $100 cash or $1,000 towards the purchase of a new Honda. But the Detroit News reports 26 state attorneys general call the settlement meager, and they want more. They point out that lawyers involved in the case will get nearly $3 million, while the 158,000 people involved in this class action suit get to split $22,500. We're starting to see a lot more car companies figure out how they can work together to cut cost. Daimler is out searching for a partner to share development of the Smart and engines for subcompact Mercedes-Benzes. Bloomberg reports that partner could be Renault. Meanwhile, Mazda is now looking for a partner now that it and Ford are starting to go their separate ways, and that new partner could be Toyota. And of course, this all follows on the heels of Mitsubishi and Suzuki announcing they will work together. And this is going to be a trend that will involve a lot more car companies. The worst-kept secret around Detroit became official yesterday when the UAW nominated Bob King to be its next president. The Detroit Free Press reports that King, who currently leads the union's Ford department, will replace Ron Gettelfinger in June at the next UAW convention. King has been with the union almost 40 years and a vice president since 1998. Of course, now he has to be elected by the membership at large, and for the first time in the union's history, that may not be a foregone conclusion. The finalists for the North American Car and Truck of the Year awards were announced yesterday. The jury of 49 automotive journalists from throughout the United States and Canada chose the Ford Fusion Hybrid, the Buick LaCrosse, and the Volkswagen Golf as the finalists for the Car of the Year. They chose the Subaru Outback, the Chevrolet Equinox, and the Ford Transit Connect as the finalists for the Truck of the Year. The winners will be announced at the North American International Auto Show in Detroit next month, and full disclosure here, I am one of those jurors. And I like to point out that this is the only Car and Truck of the Year awards that are not tied into any advertising or marketing promotion. And it looks like there is a snow-go problem on many Midwest roads. Our friends at Autoblog report that communities with LED traffic lights, especially around the Great Lakes, are seeing weather-related backups. Since the low-watt, energy-efficient LEDs are so much cooler than their incandescent counterparts, they cannot melt the snow that packs up against them, so drivers can't see the light. So far, the only answer to the problem seems to be the old tried and true method of the human hand physically removing the snow. And that cannot be fun or efficient for anyone. Coming up next, some of my thoughts on Lincoln's new MKT crossover. We'll be back right after this. My instant impression of the Lincoln MKT is that the front-end graphic of this, the face of the vehicle, if you will, reminds me of the blue meanies in that animated feature film the Beatles did called Yellow Submarine. Look at this thing. It's got a big, toothy grin to it and projector beams that are very intense eyes. They don't look mean, but they are intense. Okay, everybody's got to have fender vents on their cars these days, right? Well, so does the MKT, but what I really like is Lincoln incorporated the logo of the brand into it, something I haven't seen anybody else do yet. Another thing I like on this vehicle is the DLO, the daylight opening, the window surround here. You've got this kick up over the rear wheel. Other vehicles do that, but it looks unique on the MKT. Why? You got to wrap around to the back of the vehicle and look at the wraparound taillights side to side on this vehicle. Then you've got this big massive panel here, and what you'll really notice is there really isn't much of a bumper. They take it right to the end. And all that put together make this a vehicle that doesn't look like anything else on the market. My instant impression of the interior of the Lincoln MKT is that they're really starting to get this right. When I get in a Lincoln now, it really looks and feels like a Lincoln. How? Why? Well, they've really integrated the font and the graphics of all the display very well. It ties in together, and this is becoming a common Lincoln theme. I do have two nits to pick, however. I don't like the flat two-dimensional look of the screen. I wish it had more depth to it like the instrument cluster does. Also, the armrest on the center console is slightly higher than the armrest on the door, and that gives it a bit of an awkward feel just sitting here. But other than that, I really like what they've done with this car. Hey, don't forget to join us for Autoline After Hours, when our guest will be Jim Dunn, master spy photographer. In fact, he practically invented the whole genre of automotive spy photography, and does he have a lot of good stories to tell. That's tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, which is precisely 0 hours GMT. And that's it for today's top news in the global automotive industry. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.